Hi, this is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle. Here's a little video about what $40 can buy you at a local flea market. In this case, I happen to have been down on the Maryland Eastern Shore. Took a little family vacation with the grandkids and everybody, and we had a delightful time down there. We were actually on the western side of the Eastern Shore, if that makes sense. We were over by Salisbury and Princess Anne, about 20 miles north of the Virginia border. And one of the days we were just out and about and found the local flea market. Well, those of you that know that area know that it's rich with all kinds of species and all kinds of fishing. About an hour away is the ocean, but in the Chesapeake area and the Chesapeake Bay tributaries, lots of the rivers, it's just got all kinds of fish and wildlife. And as a result of that, you get a wide variety of fishing tackle based on the types of fish you're going after and the types of fishing you want to do, in addition to, of course, crabbing, where Maryland and the blue claw crabs are just abundant. Well, I picked up 4 reels, as I mentioned. I think the total was just under $40. And let's take a look at those, and then we'll take a look at a swap I made. We're going to call this flea market finds, but not local to my area, but I just happened to pop in on one, and well, we're going to show you them. The first one is a very interesting one. It's a Heddon Spin-O-Matic 295, and what's unusual about this is it does not have a full bail. It has a little point bail here. Kind of operates the same way as a full bail would. When you go to cast, you're going to pull down. That's going to get the, I would call it a half bail, but it's not even that, the little stud out of the way. Notice the little cavity that it rides in, and as you go to turn it, it will trip back into position so that it holds your line inside the spool so that you can wind it. This is an example of a reel that has not been maintained, but can be brought back, given it a second chance, and it can go fishing again. Why do I say not maintained? Well, it's obvious that it was a salt water reel, and some of the tributaries we were fishing in was brackish water. We were coming up with all kinds of things, croaker and juvenile striped bass and eels and the like. And if you find an eel, generally, that's an indication that it's brackish water. But you can see all the blistering and the paint loss on this, sometimes called corrosion. You see it on the plating here. Some wear down on the adjusters and the like. This is preventable. We have an awful lot of salt. I took some of the line off to show you what happens when you don't rinse a reel off with fresh water. This is all salt and salt powder, and that'll all clean up. And then finally on this reel, what I call grease choked. This reel is just very slow to turn. It's hard to turn, but it does turn. And as you go about considering, geez, that's an effort, considering buying a reel at a flea market, not test all features and functions, make sure that it works. So I looked into the Heddon catalog. I found, after I purchased it, I found that this one was shown in the 1969 catalog, but it was not shown in the 1972 catalog. So that says somewhere between the two. It was probably the heyday for this reel, and rather unique function on it. I'm going to try and do a video on this one, show you how it's made, how to take apart, and how to service this reel. I'll clean it up and strap it on a pole, have some fun, try to play with it, see how we do, and if we can do, and then we'll go from there. Well, the second one I found was a pair of reels, and that's always an interesting consideration. Both of these are Shimano reels. The one with the blue is the Shimano Syncopate, and the one with the gold is the Solstice. And take away the coloring and the reels look very similar body-wise. So yeah, the handle is different, the knob up top is different. That's cosmetic stuff. This reel was first made around the time 1993. You'll notice we have the 3-screw construction. We have a plastic side plate. We have the ubiquitous 2000 spool. This one, the Solstice, ups the game. It has 4 ball bearings in it, and it has a different colored chromed cap. But again, it's the 2000 size spool. Generally, will work on that. 3 screws, almost identical. You look inside, the only difference between the 2 ball bearing and the 4 ball bearing is bushings, not bearings. The internals are pretty much identical. And one of the things you're going to notice on this is, well, something I noticed when I was purchasing it, we're missing the quick fire release. Well, what happens with that is that it causes a wobble in the way it rides, because the reel needs to be balanced with that extra piece for the quick fire. Fortunately, I have some parts for quick fire reels. I'll be happy to add that one. I think we'll do a video on both of those. I'll have to go back and check, but I don't think that I have them in my lineup, so I'll do that. And then my last $10 reel was a Sears reel. This is a Sears 910. I've done videos on these in the past, I think probably 2 years ago or something. It's the 910 Sears Roebuck Company, and the model number's got the manufacturer in it. Well, this one doesn't have it on there, but I believe that this is a Daiwa reel for Sears. Usually on the bottom of these rotors, when you're looking at Sears, at least the large saltwater ones, it'll say something like engineered and designed in the U.S. And manufactured for Sears by Daiwa or somebody like that. The reason I'm thinking it's Daiwa, it's Korea, and Daiwa was Japanese, but then moved a lot of their reel production, like the C Series, Silver Series, to Korea. And well, this one's an interesting one. Like I said, I won't do a video on this one because there are 2 out there already. One of them, surprisingly, was the Sears 910. The other one that had the Daiwa writing on it, supposed Daiwa writing on it, was the Sears 500. And the only difference between those 2 reels was the color of the reel, as best I could tell. And the handle was a little bit differently, but essentially they're the same. This one's a beauty. I don't know why it was for sale. Everything works on it. Spins nice and easy. Of course, it's dirty. It's been sitting in a flea market stall for a while, I assume. We have the dirt. We have the grime and the grease and years of inattention. But for the most part, the paint is still here, unlike the head and reel. And this one, I would bet, I'm going to clean it up and service it, but I would bet if you just strap some line on there, you could get away with fishing that for a while before it turned rough again. Well, those are my flea market finds, but I also did 2 trades. Traded for 2 pole setups. The reels themselves belong to a captain of a charter boat who no longer goes deep. They used to make frequent trips to the canyons, and well, they just don't do that anymore. Now they concentrate inland, and I was asked would I be interested in trading for some of his larger tackle so that he could get some reels that he would be using on deck. So this is the first one. This is a Penn Senator 9.0. It's strapped to a Penn stand-up slammer rod. This is only a 5.5 foot rod. It's heavy action, and it's designed for 40 to 80 pound line. So this is quite the reel setup, quite the lining on it. It's a newer model because you have the anodized aluminum spool, not the old chrome spool on it. You do have the large leveraged handle and the like. So that was one of the ones I traded for, and the other one, kind of similar. Very similar, but a little different. And this one is also on a slammer rod. This is a little bit less. This is the Penn 6.0, but again, this one is in nice condition. They have the etched side plates on them, the black side plates. So the black side plate indicates that it is not the high-speed Senator, but these are the types of reels that, well, let's just say you could pull up Davy Jones' locker. It has a relatively slow retrieve. They're made for trolling. These are going to get cleaned up, and we're going to find the right person who, as I said, likes to go deep. These are beautiful rod and reel setups. With a little bit of effort, they'll clean right up and be ready to go fishing again. So, what did we get from this? We got a a view into some of the reels that are sold down in the Maryland area at flea markets. We saw a little bit about why there's variety there, and then we saw a trade that I made from a boat captain that stays inshore now rather than going out to the Hudson Canyons and the like. And they all have a purpose and a place. Keep them clean and get them ready, and they will all have second chances. So I hope you've enjoyed this little bit about some flea market finds of recent, and kind of why I made those trades, why I purchased those reels. And we're going to get these all up and going and running again. And I have no doubt that there's still a lot of fish catching in all of them, including that older head. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please subscribe. You'll see how I service these reels and bring them back to life. If you're a first responder and essential personnel, thank you for everything it is that you do to keep us safe. Your efforts are appreciated. And to everybody, thank you for your subscriptions. Thank you for watching and viewing. And thanks for making this channel the success that it is. To our first responders and essential personnel, well, thank you. To everybody, please stay safe, stay well, stay watching, and have a great day on the water. This is Dennis with Second Chance Tackle, wishing you well.